Sorry, we were on mute in board chambers. But Catherine will start the meeting.
Do I have to take my Bible out of the plastic? I got it in here so I don't get a virus.
Well, you should be immune to the virus.
I'm afraid to put my hand on it, somebody's blue.
First time?
Hey, look for a comic
I asked my wife last night, she had a comic book I could read. But I thought, that's all I needed, somebody to see this.
I have a Bible signed by the Queen of England from my great-great-grandmother. Somewhere in my house. It's little, not that big.
My wife's got enough Bibles in that house, every time one of my grandkids come over and ask for.
Melanie, I went ahead and started the stream, and we are recording.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. A regular meeting of the Kings County Board of Supervisors is called to order. Due to issues arising from COVID-19, the board is using teleconferencing format for today's meeting. Today, we have 2 board members in the chambers. The rest are participating via the World Wide Web. If you would like to make public comment today, please make sure you are identified by name in the WebEx system. For those interested in commenting during unscheduled appearances, please use the raise your hand feature and wait to be recognized. Each speaker will be allowed up to 2 minutes for public comment. Each vote today will be a verbal or voice vote so that the members of the public can hear how each board member has voted. After we have had a motion and a second regarding each item we are taking up today, we will be doing a roll call vote by district. The first order of business is roll call by district. Joe Neves.
Here.
Richard Valley. Richard Valley.
Here.
Doug Verboon.
Here.
Craig Peterson.
Here.
Richard Fagundes.
Here.
At this time, I would like to invite everyone to stand and join the Board of Supervisors during the invocation by Chad Fagundes. Do we have him online? We have another Fagundes in the chambers. Would District Attorney Keith Fagundes like to say a prayer for the Board of Supervisors this morning? Thank you.
Please bow your heads and join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all of our government officials. We thank you for the system of government we have. We thank you for all of your guidance and giving them strength and wisdom in every decision they make. And we thank you for the community that we have and its support for law enforcement, business, and every other citizen who needs assistance. And in that, we pray in your name, in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. And please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Re-elected board member District 2, Richard Valley, will host a separate event this afternoon to have his oath administered by Pat Nolan, Corcoran City Council member and mayor. The Honorable Judge Shane Burns will now administer oath of office to re-elected board member District 5, Richard Fagundes. Do we have Judge Shane Burns online?
We do. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay. So Mr. Fagundes, congratulations on your re-election. Are you prepared to take the oath of office?
I am.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Richard Fagundes,
You have to repeat.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will be true and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of California,
that I take this obligation freely
and I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or reservation,
and that I will well and faithfully
fully, faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, Mr. Fagundes. You got a new portrait.
Thank you.
And thank you for letting me swear you in. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I got to run back to court. You all have a great day.
Thank you, Judge Burns.
You are welcome. Lee, I'll give you a call later. I still got to talk to you about the library.
I think the Bible will burn in his hand.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge Burns.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. The next order of business is the reorganization of the Board of Supervisors to elect chairman and vice chairman for 2021. At this time, I declare the office of chairman vacant and call for nominations.
I nominate Supervisor Craig Peterson.
Second.
I'll ask to close nominations at this time.
Do we have any other nominations? I see that we have a motion to nominate Supervisor Peterson as chairman and close the nominations. And I have a second. Joe Nevs?
Yes.
Richard Valley?
Abstain.
Abstain. Doug Verboon?
Yes.
Craig Peterson?
Aye.
Richard Fagundes?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, I will pass the agenda over to Craig Peterson. You have your script in front of you?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, next order of business is to elect our vice chairman. So I declare the office of vice chair vacant and call for nominations.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Supervisor Neves for vice chair.
I'll second that.
Close the nomination.
I'll second that and second to close.
Do we have
Okay.
any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Joe Nevs?
Yes.
Richard Valley?
Aye.
Doug Verboon?
Yes.
Craig Peterson?
Aye.
Richard Fagundes?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. At this time, we'll move on to unscheduled appearances. Any person may directly address the board at this time on any item on the agenda or any other items of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. 2 minutes are allowed for each item. Madam Clerk, do we have any unscheduled comments?
Mr. Chairman, Keith Fagundes in the board chambers.
Please, go ahead.
Right, thank you. I just wanted to give an update. Last month, we had come to the board and we were discussing the blanket drive we did for Valley Christian Home. That drive was a success. They had 72 residents. We collected just over 100 blankets and delivered it to them 2 weeks ago. And I want to thank the board's participation and those who helped with that blanket drive and anybody else in the county who offered to help and gave assistance. So it's a wonderful county we live in. We ask and people give. So that's a great thing. Thanks.
Thank you. Other unscheduled comments?
We do not seem to have anybody with their hands raised.
Okay, and no written?
No.
Very good. Thank you. We'll move on to approval of the minutes from the December 22nd, 2020 regular meeting.
Motion to approve is presented.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley. Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. At this time now, we'll move on to the consent calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar presented.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley. Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Before we jump into the regular items, just a quick note. Want to thank Supervisor Verboon for his leadership last year. It was a tough year. You know, a lot of emotion, a lot of major issues that were dealt with. And he did a great job. And you know, on a personal note, just thank you for your service last year. Did a great job. And I've got big shoes to fill. So hopefully we'll do that and do that well. Also, congratulations to Supervisor Fagundes and Supervisor Valley on your re-elections. And welcome back. And I hope that we can do things in a little more expedient fashion this year. And I know we have a lot of challenging subjects that we deal with and a lot of emotion. And I'll do my best to keep that flow of the meeting moving as we work through all of these challenging issues. So at this time, we'll move on to regular agenda items. Item 7A, Administration. Rebecca Campbell, Kyria Martinez.
Kyria, it appears you're muted.
Can't hear you. Oh. Nope.
This is good.
Did she go out and come back in? It looks like, it appears she's going out and coming back in. Hopefully it'll clear things up if we could just give her a moment.
Either that or we can move on to item B and come back to item A.
That'd be great.
If James Irv is available or Alda Silva.
Do we have either of them online?
Well, we're off to a smashing start.
Welcome to 2021.
Does anybody have a song to sing?
You want me to talk about the water one?
Yeah, why don't you, Doug? This is a temporary, we've done this in the past, so why don't you
Yeah,
just go
so
ahead?
People Ditch Company, Kings County owns 40 acres feet of water in King County and People Ditch Company. And we don't have a place to put it. So we sign it over back to People Ditch Company at $90 an acre foot this year. And they'll pay us a sum of, I don't have it in front of me, I think it was like $3,600. And then they lease it out to people in the district as they see fit.
It appears we have Kyria Martinez available. If
Good
you'd
morning,
like her to
Kyria.
finish her presentation.
Yes. Doug basically summarized it. Yes, Kings County owns the 40 acres of water stock in the People's Ditch Company. Since 1984, the county has been leasing the stock on a 2 to 3 year term. The lease requires that the county annually transfer its water stock in the People's Ditch Company by way of a transfer slip. The agreement is mostly the same in the past years, but the payment floor increased from $80 to $90, which benefits the county. The prior lease expired in January 2020, and we propose that the lease be renewed effective today on similar terms and conditions. At this time, staff is requesting to approve a 3-year lease renewal with the Kings County Water District and authorize the county administrative officer to sign for the water transfer of 40 acres of water stock in People's Ditch Company for water years 2020 to 2021, 2021 to 2022, and 2022 through 2023 in compliance with these lease terms. I believe Dennis Mill is on the board meeting. If you would like to ask or make any comments to Mr. Mills, or if you have any further questions for staff. Thank you, Supervisor Verboen.
All right, we've heard discussions. Are there any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Very good. Motion passes. Thank you. So that was for item A and B, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Very good. Okay, on to item B, Department of Finance, James Erb.
I do know Mr. Erb was not available for the meeting today. His staff is supposed to be on.
We also have Alda Silva. Alda, are you available?
Is Rob Knutson on?
All right, while we're working on that, we're going to move on to item C, administration, and that's Rebecca and Domingo Cruz.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good morning. So the Domingo Cruz, one of your administrative analysts in the administrative office. So this morning, I'm here to request that your board waive the second reading and adopt ordinance number 520.23, the master fee ordinance, including the master fee schedule effective February 4, 2021. So the proposed ordinance number 520.23 and master fee schedule were introduced at a public hearing on December 22nd, 2020. No verbal or written public testimony was received from those in attendance at the meeting via the WebEx. So the fees will take effect 30 days after the adoption today. This is pursuant to Government Code 25123. Also, the departments requesting changes to their fee structure will start collecting on February 4th, 2021. And that will include the proposed changes as part of their fiscal year 2021-2022 budget request. With that, and barring any question, I respectfully request that your board waive the second reading and adopt ordinance number 520.23, the master fee ordinance, including the master fee schedule, effective February 4th, 2021. Thank you.
Thanks, Domingo. Okay, any questions, comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
So move and waive the second reading.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Very good. Motion carries. Do we have anybody from the Finance Department back online yet?
I do
I
have.
Okay, please identify yourself.
I think she remuted herself.
Okay, we'll move on to item D then, administration 7D. And again, Rebecca.
Good morning, members of the board. Happy New Year. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair. Okay, so I am in contact with the finance department and they are trying to get on here and hopefully they will be ready to go once we're finished this update. So this is our weekly update we were doing as part of calendar year 2020. And now it's been 2 weeks since we've given the board an update, a little over that actually. And so I want to go ahead and follow that same format, talk about any actions that occurred with the state and federal governments.
Online.
And then talk about anything locally and then turn it over to our Director of Public Health, Mr. Ed Hill, so he can talk about the health update locally. So looking, the last update was given to your board on December 22nd. And over that time, if you hadn't heard, the Governor Newsom made a few appointments, and I just want to call out a couple of them. Governor Newsom appointed Alex Padilla to the U.S. Senate, and Assembly Member Shirley Weber to be tapped as the new Secretary of State. He also announced that his chief of staff, and there were a bunch of rumors flying about this, Ms. Ann O'Leary is leaving his administration, and she's going back to help serve on the new Biden administration at the federal level. And so Mr. Jim DeBoo will fill in behind her as the executive secretary, the right-hand person to the governor, responsible overseeing the overall strategy, including communications, legislative, external affairs, intergovernmental affairs, as well as the governor's scheduling, advanced and protocol operations. Mr. DeBoo will work closely in close coordination with the Cabinet Secretary Anna Santos, and she'll continue in her role. The California Department of Housing and Community Development has announced release of a community development block grant, Coronavirus 2 and 3, Notice of Funding Availability. So there's a total of $77.1 million in overall funding available. Some of that was about $5.9 million was from unclaimed funds from round 1, $54.4 million are new funds from round 2, and $16.8 million are from round 3. So there'll be some upcoming assistance from the state regarding that notice of funding availability. The governor came on a few times in the last 2 weeks and talked about a new school reopening plan. So the governor announced that it's called Safe Schools for All Plan, a framework to support schools to continue operating safely in person and to expand the number of schools safely resuming in-person instruction. The plan contemplates bringing back the youngest children, that would include TK through 2nd grade, and those who have special education needs first, and then phasing in other grade levels through the spring. Distance learning will remain an option for parents and students who continue it for those who have health status and that do not allow them to return to school in the near term. The governor's proposed plan will include $2 billion in financial incentives to support school safety measures, including testing, ventilation, PPE for those schools that have resumed in-person instruction, and a phase in-person instruction by early spring. Keith Health Sports will provide for frequent testing for all students and staff, including weekly testing for our communities with high rates of transmission, masks for all students and staff, including distribution of millions of surgical masks for school staff, improved coordination between school and health officials for contact tracing, and prioritization of school staff for vaccines. The governor emphasized the local implementation plans would be subject to local collective bargaining agreements. Finally, a state dashboard will enable all Californians to see their school's reopening plan, level of available funding, and data on school outbreaks. A web-based hotline will be available for school staff and parents to report concerns to the Safe Schools for All team, which will lead to escalating levels of intervention, beginning with technical assistance and ending with legal enforcement. Also last week, Chief Justice Tanny, I'm probably not going to get this right, but Cantel Sakai announced she was spearheading efforts to fast-track resolution of criminal cases and will make retired judges available through temporary assigned judge program to reinforce these efforts. The temporary program, expected to remain into effect until California's state of emergency is declared over, is meant to reduce the significant criminal case backlogs that have resulted from COVID-19. On the federal front, there was some activity over the last 2 weeks. Congress approved the $2.3 million trillion legislative package that includes both appropriations for federal fiscal year 2021 and additional COVID-19 relief. We did go over this extensively at the last meeting, so I won't do that again. Regrettably, the package does not include direct flexible aid to states and local governments, but it does include a number of provisions that provide specific assistance to state and locals. The president did sign that bill on December 27th. So I wanted to let you know that that passed. On the county front, the county still continues to operate as it has been during this pandemic. We are managing cases within our own doors, and also the Emergency Operations Center continues to meet virtually. So with that, I would stop here, pause, and turn it over to Director Edward Hill for a public health update.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Happy New Year, Ed Hill Public Health. I'm going to start off my presentation, as I always do, by reminding everyone the simple steps that we can take to protect ourselves from communicable diseases such as COVID-19. Those are wash your hands frequently for 20 seconds or more. Don't touch your face with unwashed hands. Stay hydrated with water. A hydrated cell is a healthy cell. Stay home if you're sick. Again, we continue to see individuals who think they just have a cold and then it turns out to be COVID-19 3 days later. Wear cloth face coverings to protect yourself and your loved ones, and then avoid any gatherings at any cost and don't go out unless you necessarily have to. Our current numbers for this week, number tested, we've collected 130,404 samples. We have 776 results pending. We're currently monitoring 6,516 individuals. Our current total cases since the outbreak began is at 10,068. Unfortunately, 95 deaths. Total recovered is at 5,493, and our active cases are currently at 4,480. Skilled nursing facilities have 225 cases since the outbreak has started, 177 recovered, and unfortunately 24 deaths. The total cases in the current state prisons is at 7,145 since the outbreak began. That's 815 at Corcoran, 3,252 at Avenel State Prison, and 3,078 at SADF. They've collected 87,633 samples. They have 49 results pending. They currently have 2,036 active cases with 4,751 recovered. Unfortunately, 15 deaths. They currently have 3 individuals hospitalized. They are hospitalized in Bakersfield. We do have 2 individuals from Coalinga Prison hospitalized locally. Our concerns remain the same, always keeping an eye on the possible healthcare surge that could cause. It appears that SADF has started to level off on their cases, but now Corcoran is starting to spike in their cases. They reported over 200 new cases in the last 2 weeks. We continue to watch hospital data closely, and we started to see a small dip starting to occur, but unfortunately, I don't think that that's going to be realized for very much longer. The local hospital reported yesterday that they have 96 COVID patients with 14 in the ICU, which is a pretty stark increase, and it just drives that valley straight up on the chart that we were seeing. As of 1/4/2021, the Porterville Alternate Care Site census is still at 10 patients. The site can now accept up to 25 patients, and they're staffed for that many patients. We currently are still maintaining a 60-day supply of PPE for all of our healthcare facilities. The hospital did receive 5 additional ICU nurses, and they were expecting to receive an additional 5 med-surg nurses yesterday. I have not had a chance to follow up with them to find out if they have received those individuals yet. The state did hold a conference call on New Year's Day announcing that they may be issuing another state health officer order requiring certain hospitals to take certain steps. If the county is in a regional order, the region's ICU capacity is 0%, and the county's ICU availability is below 10%. The goal of this will be to stop the hospitals from entering what's known as crisis care models, and they'll likely implement several features such as the cancellation of non-urgent surgical procedures, provide administrative flexibilities in charting and staffing requirements, and other things. Again, we won't know the full details until the actual order comes out. The mobile testing program site scheduled for this week, it was at the county yesterday. It is at Avenal High School today. Tomorrow it'll be at Armona Elementary. Thursday it will be at Lemoore High School. Friday it's off as usual. Saturday it's at downtown Hanford, and Sunday it will be at the Corcoran Rack. We continue to hold regularly scheduled follow-up calls with the state and unified support team and work through any pending issues. Our current numbers for the state's metric this week, our cases per 100,000 is at 53.4. Our overall testing positivity is at 14.2%, and our testing positivity in the lowest quartile of the Healthy Places Index is currently at 17.6. So again, this means that all of our metrics meet the purple tier criteria, and our testing is way down at only 529, which was to be expected given the holidays. We didn't anticipate a lot of folks coming out to get tested over the holidays, so we're anticipating to see a spike this week as the holidays conclude. The current ICU capacity for the San Joaquin Valley today is at 0%. I just want to provide a quick update on the vaccine progress. We've created a vaccine update page on our website, which contains all the information on vaccine safety, as well as how many doses we've received and where we're currently at in the distribution and administration of the vaccines. We have received a total of 1,575 vaccines. That's 975 from Pfizer, 600 from Moderna. We did distribute 700 of these vaccines to the local hospital on December 18th. We have also administered currently 147 vaccines through the health department so far. We've been getting approximately 1 extra dose per vial of the Pfizer vaccine. And because of this, we're scheduling accordingly. We're also putting individuals on standby so that we make sure that these vaccines don't go to waste. So far, we've been able to make our way all the way through Phase 1A, Tier 1. That's acute care hospitals, skilled nursing facilities, and assisted living facilities. Again, they're part of the pharmacy program, and they do direct communications and administration and distribution of the vaccine through the local pharmacies. We don't have very much intelligence on this as it's being handled through that network. We've completed the vaccination of paramedics, EMTs, and other emergency medical care providers. We've also completed the dialysis centers, but I also need to make sure that I'm clear this is the first dose that we've administered so far, so they will be eligible for their next dose very soon. We're anticipating another shipment of Pfizer vaccine within hopefully a week, another 705 doses or one carton. That will again give us the ability to administer, and it's intended for the second doses of this first group. We did move into Tier 2 yesterday, starting with intermediate care facilities, home health, and we started with in-home supportive services vaccines, or IHSS. Again, I want to thank Sonia Bouguet and her team, as we weren't anticipating being able to move to this population this quickly, but her staff responded immediately and made calls during the break to help us identify those who are willing to receive the vaccine. And it was huge for us to get started this week. Without them, it would have been a lot slower. Again, I want to be clear that this is for the providers, not the recipients yet. The recipients are covered in another tier further on down through as we move through the program. Next on the group is also community health workers and public health field staff and primary care clinics, including federal qualified healthcare clinics, rural health centers, correctional facility clinics like our jail, and urgent care clinics. We're going to be reaching out to these folks this week to start those planning processes. However, the IHSS population of providers is 2,000 strong. We only have 763 vaccines left, so we're anticipating using that entire allotment as we work through IHSS. But as soon as we identify any leftover vaccines, we will continue to move through the tiers. Again, I put this table up on our website so the board and the public has a clear glimpse of where we are at in this process, and we'll continue to update that on a regular basis. The state held a conference call Sunday night, secondary to demands from the administration to administer any remaining vaccines within the next 10 days. This was secondary to how slow the vaccine is being distributed throughout the nation, not just California. And as you can imagine, this was quite a lengthy call where the health department shared quite a bit of frustration and what it would actually take to accomplish this, which includes resources from the state to support the locals who are faced with record number of new cases, while also deploying or operationalizing a vaccine process on top of it. Flexibility to move through the tiers in each respective phase, true intelligence on vaccine availability. This number continues to change, and as the feds and the state carve out populations for these vaccines, it causes us to take great pause in our planning processes. And because of that, we ask the state to pick a path and stick with it. Another example of this is one of the requirements that the state has on public health departments is that we enforce or take enforcement actions on individuals distributing the vaccine outside of the tiers. But at the same token, they have given us permission to move through the tiers. So it makes the issue very confusing. I would like to conclude with the rollout of the vaccine program is occurring during a nationwide disaster. Health departments throughout the nation are under immense stress right now because of the planning that it takes and what it takes to operationalize these large-scale vaccine rollouts on top of all the cases that we're dealing with. And we're going to expect to encounter challenges and some hurdles and some barriers. And as we identify those, we're going to work to meet them as fast as we can. I also want to take this opportunity to once again thank all of our county family partners that have stepped up to help us during this event. The CAO's office, HR, county council, IT, elections, JTO, the fire department, including OES, behavioral health, HSA, the library, probation, the DA's office, the sheriff's office. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody there. We're begging and borrowing staff from everywhere that we can, and I really appreciate it. It's because of that we've been able to be so successful so far. I'm going to go ahead and conclude my report there and be happy to take any questions.
Very good, thank you. Supervisor Valley.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of questions, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hill, thank you for the update. I do want to start the year off, by thanking you and the staff for your efforts as we enter this new year with the 95 deaths and the 10,000 cases. This is a serious issue, obviously, and I appreciate the seriousness that you've taken in this matter, Mr. Hill. Mr. Hill, one of the questions that I've been getting lately for the public here, for people with the serious health issues, and the public is seeing that folks with these pre-existing conditions are in the upper tiers to get their vaccines. The question that I'm getting most is how will they be notified? Does somebody feels that they meet that criteria? Do they call their personal physician, and their personal physician helps them with an appointment to get the vaccine, or where is that initiated from, Mr. Hill, the health department or the person themselves being responsible to initiate that?
Thank you, Supervisor Valley, through the chair. That's a good question. Our current plan right now, and I'm sorry, I should have closed with this too on the other side. The state is promising resources. In fact, their ask last Sunday was if we were to have the dream staff that we need right now, what do the locals need to distribute the vaccines in the quantities that they want to see? For us, it would be an exact duplication of our staff right now. But we are not in the same boat that the other counties are in because we have such a low count of vaccines. I don't think we will have an issue administering the remaining 760 vaccines within the next 10 days. So I should have clarified that. But to your point, our current plan is when we get closer to that tier to provide mass publications to the public through press releases, public service announcements, social media, anything we can, notifying them that that age group is eligible, or excuse me, not that age group, but that particular sector is eligible and it's time to start getting vaccinated. And then in conjunction with a couple of our partners, American Ambulance is providing staff. We're also very close to getting a chunk of nursing students through West Hills College to help us with administration. The California Emergency Medical Services Authority is working to augment training to allow EMTs and unaccredited paramedics to give vaccines so that we have a vaccine workforce. But to the point is we plan on having several point of dispensing sites, probably one at each one of our physical locations in Avenel, Lemoore, and Corcoran, as well as at least one mobile pod that can go to areas like Kettleman City, Stratford, and areas along those lines to do mass vaccination clinics.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, another question, please. Mr. Hill, with all the talk about the surges, and I know you reported that the Christmas surge, they're starting to see that, those numbers, and then everyone is just bracing for what they're calling the New Year's Eve surge, and the wave that they say is coming with that. Beyond that, Mr. Hill, can you give us for the public your assessment, how you feel after that, whether things will level off, better days, or what would your opinion be moving forward past the New Year's Eve surge, Mr. Hill?
Thank you, Supervisor Valley, through the chair. After the New Year's Eve surge, given that we will not be experiencing warmer weather, which is what drives people outside, in other words, the cooler weather keeps individuals inside. We saw that when we moved into October, November, and when individuals are inside, they have more opportunity to swap same air. And as we know that when people are swapping air, they have the opportunity to spread the virus. I anticipate that after the New Year's surge, there will be a decline. I'm not totally confident that we'll see springtime and summer numbers again, which is very what we want to see, without the full deployment of the vaccine, which, as you know, the federal government, the state, and all of us are working so hard to get the vaccine out and into the community as fast as we can.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Mr. Chill. Mr. Chill, I'll close with I stand ready to help you in any way with your mission. Feel free to call. Again, I'm offering when it's my turn for the vaccine, I would love to do something off my platform on social media to help with the promotion. I know that you stated that that's one of the things that we can be helpful with is getting the messaging out as it relates to the vaccine, and I'm supportive of the vaccine, and I look forward to my opportunity when it's my turn to have it administered by you publicly. So thank you, Mr. Hill. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Further questions? Okay, hearing no further questions, Rebecca, do you have further information?
No, that is it on this item today.
Okay, very good. Thank you. We're going to try and go back to item B, Department, Finance Department, and Alda Silva.
She is on the call, so hopefully she jumps forward.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I am sorry. Mr. Chairman and board members, I apologize. I had technical difficulties this morning trying to get into the board meeting. We're here this morning to present item on a tax sale. We are requesting their tax sale properties that have been delinquent for the last for 5 years or longer. And with the packet that you received, we have 21 properties that are going up for public auction starting on March the 5th and ending on March the 9th. We have one property that's going to be a reoffer. It has been offered before with no bid. And the remaining parcels, the minimum bid has been set at a lower cost to try and sell the property. And we're also requesting that if the properties do not sell, that we get authorization to reoffer them within 90 days. So I have two items this morning. There are 21 properties going up for the public auction. And then we have 4 properties that are going up for sealed bid for contingent owners.
Is that it?
So, yeah, do you have any questions for me?
Okay, any questions?
Hey, Mr. Chairman, after reading the background, it was a good background. I'm comfortable with making the motion to approve items A and B under this agenda item.
Let's see, we got, so there's A, B, and C on item 1, and then A and B on item 2. So that'd be inclusive with all of those items?
If you're comfortable with that, Mr. Chair, I'm happy to make that motion.
Very good. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Very good. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to board member announcements and Supervisor Verboon.
I'm good. Happy New Year. Good luck this year. It's all yours. You know, it was a stressful year last year. I don't see getting any better soon. So we all need to respect the virus and get back to normalcy as soon as possible. Be aware of it, but still live your life. So with that, I'll wish you all the best this year.
Very good. Thank you. Supervisor Fagundes.
Yes, I'd like to just thank everybody and wish everybody a happy new year. Hopefully we can overcome some of our difficulties that we had in the past. But the main thing I'd like to really help and thank our department heads for being so helpful during this time. They've bent over backwards doing all they possibly can for the county in numerous ways. So with that, I'd like to thank them and congratulate them for the work that they're doing. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Supervisor Valley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I also want to congratulate Supervisor Richard Fagundes on his swearing into his 4th term today. It's been an honor to serve with you, sir, coming in, starting together back in January of 2009. And it's been a privilege to serve with you the last 12 years. Supervisor. Your commitment and your integrity to the people you represent is very honorable. And I don't think anyone needs to tell you that. That's good work you're doing, Supervisor. I also want to thank the clerks for working to put together a nice swear-in despite the challenges of COVID. And unfortunately, we just can't have our families with us today in the chambers to enjoy the moment as we usually do. It's a special moment. You got to take the good days with the bad days, and today's a good day. And so I do want to thank them for that. And because I always do have my mother with me. She's 89 years old, and so that's the only reason why I'm choosing to have my swear-in at her home today. So at noon, we're going to be on Facebook Live for a virtual swear-in, and standing in my mother's front yard under my father's flagpole that we've had in memory of him. And so it's going to still be a special moment, and I look forward to it. And I want to thank Corcoran Mayor Pat Nolan for giving me the honor today and taking her time to administer the oath. And thank Catherine and Melanie for helping me to put some of those things together for today. So thank you. Happy New Year. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Nebbs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Finished up phase 1 of the new transit center with all of the land acquisition now in the pipeline. We're hoping to get that project complete in early this year, first quarter of this year, and then move on to phase 2, of which we've already started with a very esteemed group of individuals working on project design. And so with that, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good luck, and it'll be a privilege working with you.
Well, thank you, Supervisor Nebbs. Congratulations as well on Vice Chair, and look forward to your assistance throughout. And as far as my comments, just want to again thank all of our staff this year for a very challenging year, and look forward to working with you to get the mission accomplished this year. My door is always open. Don't hesitate to call, and I'm there at your at your convenience, and whatever you need is any time of the day. So with that, we will move on to board member correspondence. Rebecca.
Yes, and there's one item in correspondence starting the new year from the Fish and Game. There's a notice regarding regulatory action relating to mammal hunting regulations. Other than Supervisor Valley's event today, there's no other upcoming events. And then next week for the agenda, we'll have a COVID-19 update. We'll have a public hearing regarding appointment of the County Road Commissioner. The 5-year impact fee report will come before your board. Also, plans and specs on the SB 81 Juvenile Center remodel project will come before the board, and the proposed board committee assignments will come before the board. A resolution regarding a transfer of water to the Kettleton City Community Services District will come before the board. From the Ag Commissioner, there'll be an item on noxious weeds. From the Community Development Agency, there'll be the first reading of Development Code text change for the change of zone district boundary 20-01. Public Health, first 5, the Regional Impact Hub Agreement will come before the board. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll bring back the Board of State Corrections Coronavirus Supplemental Funding Grant for technical upgrades in the jail from administration. And so that's it on upcoming items. Thank you.
Right, very good. Well, we've made it through the first meeting of the year. At this time, we'll move to closed session. We have 2 items. Litigation formally initiated, Leprino Foods Company versus County of Kings County Superior Court case number 20C0159, and that falls under Government Section Code 54956.9. Secondly, we have conference with labor negotiator, meet and confer, Government Code Section 54957.6. Those will be Blue Collar, Detention Deputies Association, Firefighters Association, General CLOSIA, Probation Officers Association, Prosecutors Association, Supervisors CLOSIA, Deputy Sheriff's Association, and Unrepresented Management. And council, do we expect to report out?
We do not, Mr. Chair.
Very good, thank you. So with that, we will adjourn to our closed session. Thank you all for joining us today, and have a great year this year. Thank you.